Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday and a very pleasant afternoon or evening if you're on the East Coast, wherever you may be. Yes, I'm using the Vince Scully opening because I'm doing wearing the Dodger hat today. I'm in the sister's house, so I'm going to go ahead and use the Dodger opening. How is everybody doing? Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on the NoDQ.com channel, the Great Cherry brand, Castine Studios, and of course the Jeff Meacham Network. We are very happy to have all of you who are here with us. I'm trying to make sure the phone is actually off, which it needs to be because I'm trying to do my show. Hope everybody's having a pleasant Tuesday, or at the very least more pleasant than mine. It's one of those days, but you know what? It is what it is. We soldier on, we do our thing, and we get the work done. So hopefully everybody's having a good day. Go ahead and read some of the comments as they're coming in here. Josh is here. Good to see you, Josh. Yo, what's up? And Daniel says, I'm so excited for this Friday night. I'm going to see my first AEW event, plus seeing the Ring of Honor Championship. Nice. Good stuff. Have yet to see the, I've seen the championship live because Jamie Noble, James Gibson brought it to PWG whenever he was champion, 2006, 2007, something like that. So I have seen the championship. It's pretty cool. JJ, of course, is here. Hello, JJ. Hi there, ho there. Got to get my shit in before Josh came. Exactly. Appreciate that, Josh. Yeah, it's just one of the, I can't have a perfect day every day. I do try. And Ken is here. Hello, Ken. All right. So let's go ahead and make sure I get these. I did not get the topics loaded like I wanted to. I goofed up, so I'll go ahead and do that now while the people are still piling in post NXT. This is kind of a new setup. I actually bought a brand new tripod. Got the webcam. I was going to try to go live on Instagram with this show, but it was just it was getting to be too giant a pain in my butt. So I figured, you know what, we'll do that when I'm home. That way I don't have to try to mess with stuff too badly in the process of trying to do this show live, because it is a pain in the butt to do a live stream with new equipment when you're not used to it yet, right? So bear with me here again. Either way, you're not in my room. This is actually my sister's husband's office. So whatever works. Moderators are my friend. Please, you guys, keep an eye on the bot. We don't tend to get the naughty folks except on pay-per-view or premium event nights, so it shouldn't be a big issue for the next hour. But again, you just never know. So again, thank you all for coming in post NXT. It is very much appreciated. While I wait for your questions to come in, I will go ahead and start bringing up what I wanted to bring up. The very first thing I wanted to talk about, of course, Raw was last night. Just so you guys remember, we're talking about Becky. We're going to talk about this, the fact that Brock Lesnar was advertised for the next day one, and we're going to talk about this day in history and milestone events. But first up, last night, Monday Night Raw, of course, was live on USA Network as well as over on TSN and across the world. And last night's show got a over 2.25 million viewers, which is a big deal for them. The highest since the Raw after Mania, and this is the first total viewership, because this is the highest rating. Okay, I'm gonna try this again when I'm not starting over my damn self. I do apologize. Here we go. Breathe. So this is the first Raw since Triple H took over creative, of course, and officially. And it's the highest total viewership since the first Raw without an audience, where they had the PC set up and they had the COVID era. So 2.5 years since their last high number. And the ever proven 1849, it's the highest since the Raw after Mania, which tends to get a bigger rating. So yeah, cool for WWE. And of course the AEW fanatics, if you will, that Virtue likes to call the cultists, were all over that. They were talking about that. Actually, I take that back. It wasn't the AEW cultists. It was more of the WWE fans. We beat AEW. It's like, it's not about beating AEW. It's about the fact that you guys got a big rating because there's interest in your product. And if the WWE diehards that seek to only take those numbers as an attack on AEW, you're part of the problem. You're part of the poison. Just sorry, but you are. This is good for WWE that they have interest in the product again, like we talked about all weekend. Both James and Noah watched Raw last night for the first time in a very long time, as JJ would very fondly remind me, for the first time in forever, that they had interest in the product. And I felt the Raw delivered. I got to watch most of it. I thought it delivered on all fronts. I thought it was a great show. Not the best show ever, but it's never going to be the best show ever because we are all very subjective and we all have our own opinions on what's the best ever, right? But I feel that a post-premium event show that needed to continue momentum did just that. And I am happy for WWE. I'm happy for Triple H and Stephanie and everybody involved. So there you go. Let's see what we've got here. Comment-wise, JJ says, if you listen to business experts, last night's show sucked. Yeah, well, the business experts you're talking about, JJ, I appreciate using quotes because they are exactly that. They're experts. Let me go ahead and get the one you actually corrected with the grammar. So there you go. We don't know if the rumors are true about Triple H and Sasha and the fact that they were there or not. So I'd like to believe that both Mercedes and Trinity were at least talking with the company again, because I do miss both those talents. Again, we did. We should have loved Mercedes after she walked out, and we didn't really heap a whole lot of thing on Trinity, even though they both left. But I want to see them back, so hopefully they are coming back. That would be wonderful. Ken agrees with Raw. Saw being from Boston, I was very biased when it comes to Mercedes. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I do hope that things continue the trend upward. Of course, the next major event for WWE is Clash at the Castle coming up in Cardiff in September, the same weekend now as All Out for AEW. So they're going to be going back-to-back nights, which means that first weekend in September is going to be Hell on Earth for the JEFF MEACHAM Network and our affiliates, because we're going to be covering both shows in their entirety. The good part is, like we talked about during Ric Flair's show, the Cardiff show will be earlier in the day Saturday, so we can actually get to sleep at a decent hour as opposed to being up late for the East Coasters on both fronts. So that'll be cool. All right. Not much really talks about over there. I do want to bring this up because it is unfortunate as we get Bayley back, as we get Io Sky back, as we get Dakota Kai back, which is really cool to see, as the rumors persist about the return of Charlotte Flair, the return of different people, and the ins and outs of the women's division. Becky Lynch suffered a separated shoulder Saturday night and exasperated it, as they said on Monday night, and will be out for a quote of several months after surgery on the shoulder. So that sucks for Becky. She was finally getting the man back. She was over her little Lady Gaga / Big Time Bex mental breakdown BS, and now we have to be without our Bex for a while, and it sucks because I really, a lot of people haven't enjoyed the Big Time Bex and the mental decline of the character. I've personally found it different. I didn't say I liked it necessarily or too much, but I did enjoy that she at least tried to do something different, which is so rare for somebody who's in that groove as much as Becky had been, to allow for a possible evolution and possibly falling on her ass, falling on her face and failing. If you can't fear failure, if you don't fear failure, then you can do anything. Paul Heyman said in the Rise of ECW DVD. But if you have a fear of failure, you're probably going to fail, and you're probably going to shut down. Becky has allowed herself just enough of evolution of character where she's stayed relevant. She was gone for over a year on maternity leave, and raising the baby earlier in the year. Came back last year SummerSlam in front of me and a massive audience, so shocked the world, defeated Bianca, and then over this last year, her character has completely metamorphed or whatever into a different character. And now she's not necessarily regressing, but hitting the reset button. And I think it'd be really cool to see how that goes. We'll see what happens post-surgery. So JJ says, different sure didn't like the whiny Becky, glad Bianca retained, but the post-match handshake, hug, show of respect brought a tear in my eye. Yes, it did. Agreed, JJ. Very cool to see. On the subject of the women's division, Ken says, imagine a Sasha feud with Bayley, Io, and Dakota. I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with that. Excuse me. No, not quite the same similar thing. It wasn't temper tantrums necessarily. It was just a different feel. Where does Triple H go? Go to Ronda? Where does Triple H go with Ronda Rousey from here? Well, they announced, I think yesterday, that she was fined for the attack on the referees in storyline and suspended in storyline. So they'll take her off TV. They'll kind of let the character get missed, and you let her sit on timeout. She even commented on the social media post on Instagram, worth it. So the character was definitely frustrated with the cash in at Money in the Bank and then the loss Saturday, even though she got the pinfall, or got the tap out. Liv pinned her, and the referee didn't register the tap out from Liv. So there's definite frustration on the character, and I think it's going to be good for the character. It's going to be good for the company when she does come back, because it'll be a reinvigorated, a fresh, a aggressive, non-flim-flam, non-wishy-washy Ronda Rousey, and that's what I'm here to see. I really am. All right, no more questions on that front. There is a question here, though. Is there any way, shape, or form we see Karrion Kross or Sam Shaw making their way back to NXT? Well, we did. There was a report on No DQ that Dexter Lumis, Sam Shaw, is still talking with Triple H and Stephanie, so it's not impossible. It really depends on where Sam got booked and where he has to honor commitments and where he goes from here. As far as Killer Kross, we saw him at the Ric Flair last show, the Jim Crockett show, Sunday night, against Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith. So, again, time will tell. If we get, I don't think Kross or Scarlett want to go back if they have to water down their presentation like they were forced to do, or change it completely, which was ridiculous. I love that they were back together at the Crockett show. The haircut was what it was for some folks, right? But he had a great match with Harry, so I want to see him at least do well wherever that may be. JJ says Ronda versus Liv and Cardiff, of course. Liv retains clean. Ronda snaps further and goes full on heel. Again, I think that's pretty much where we're at this point, JJ. And if the suspension ends up being 30 days from the announcement, that would be August 31st, the go home week before Cardiff. So very likely, in all likelihood, as Aaron Bush would say. Ken says he's frustrated with Baszler. She seems like an enhancement talent to the stars. It is very frustrating. I'm not saying Shannon should be a top star, but she should be in a bigger role. I tend to agree with that. Ken, I tend to agree with it a lot. In that, we're not seeing it. Pardon me, my hat's getting all wiggy. I bought this hat because it was inexpensive, and I didn't factor in the issue that the clip that leaves it clipped on does not the fastener closed does not hook on with my big giant head. I feel like the leader of Third Rock from the Sun. So when I do get a little worked up, the hat tends to expand too much, and then I can't make the thing stay. So I do apologize. Anyway, I'm not sure why Shayna would be considered, continue to be not used. She is some people don't like her look, and if the report of Kevin Dunn and his BS of, she's not pretty enough is to be believed, and that's definitely what's going on with her. So, and that's ridiculous that that's the thing. So, Sam Shaw, I don't know if he's contracted with the NWA, but he's definitely worked with them recently. And you make a good point, Jay. If Scarlett and Kross to return, they have to close the OnlyFans site and go back to not making that money. So that's not cool. Should Sasha and Naomi be punished? Nope. I think if you're going to bring him back, then you bring him back with a clean slate. And I'm not saying they necessarily deserve or whatever, because we don't know the whole story. We never will, right? But I think if you're going to be willing to bring them back, then you have to bring them back and just say, okay, this is it. This is what's been said, what's been done, over with. Marshall says, I think Ric Flair is done after Sunday because that match was what it was, and we are wanting wrestlers to stay retired these days. Especially, I definitely think it needs to be over for Rick. I think he got what I said this Sunday night. I said it last night on Ask the Dads. He got what he needed Sunday night, as did the fans. So I hope he does stay retired. I agree. And Dwayne, by the way, I saw your thing and say hello. And again, I can't thank you enough, dude. You got me over the top, got the channel over the top. August 24th is payday. So thank you. I appreciate that very much. If Ronda's full and heel, does that mean we'll get another Charlotte face turn? Lord, I hope not, but we don't need to see. I think we might get Charlotte back to Raw. But again, Charlotte's still going to come back. If Sasha and Naomi do come back, they're coming back. We've got a lot. All of a sudden, we didn't have enough quality female talent. Now we're getting to be too many, right? So it's like, shit, what do we do? Thoughts on wrestlers in the 70s and 80s? Do you think the pro wrestling industry should have an age limit? Yes, I do. They should definitely be a limit where it's like, okay, guys, this is too tough a sport to be doing this kind of crap for this long. Just not a good look. Not a good look for you. Not a good look for the company. Definitely agree with that. Let's see. 100%. Yeah, thank you, Jay. I just want to watch Terry Funk in my moment yet. I think Terry knows Terry's done. Okay, so next topic we're going to come up. I want to talk about. Oh, okay, another comment. Cool, that works for me. Yeah, Rick originally retired in 2008. Is that what it says in the description? Huh. I don't know what you're talking about here, Chakua. Anyway, Sasha, Naomi, Mercedes Trinity should not be punished. It's a new regime, new era, but Trips needs to explain to them exactly. Mae Young wanted to have a match on her birthday. Had she not passed, she would have. She would have. And I think, but the difference is Flair having the kind of match she had Sunday versus what ended up being Mae Young's last match. That little scuffle in the entryway with Lakel. A little bit different scenario, right? Anyway, I found this interesting. You know, we were talking Saturday night after Brock literally got buried under that rubble in the last Centennial match that he was going to be taking time away, and he might not come back. That might be his last Raw for real. And the day one advertisement comes out, and sure enough, we have Brock Lesnar advertised for January 1st, which means here goes the microphone. Sorry, kids. If nothing else, we're going to get Brock Lesnar back on New Year's Day, or at least a program that will lead us into the turn of the new year. So what I'm wondering is, we wondered this Sunday, or Saturday rather, after SummerSlam, and even on Sunday we were talking about it before the Flair card went live. You know, where does Brock Lesnar go from here? He's, you know, he was completely, you know, dominant for a good chunk of Saturday's main event, but then, you know, multiple, you know, blunt shots from title belts and chairs and, you know, literally a head of the table against his head. And I found it uncomfortable, made that more than clear. You know, when you can't challenge for the only championship that really matters to a guy the level of Brock Lesnar, what do you do? Because you haven't been able to beat the guy. Now, if Roman loses in Cardiff, if he loses, you know, to somebody else between now and January 1st, then we have a new story to tell. But in the meantime, I don't know where Brock Lesnar, the character, goes from here after, you know, literally getting buried under a pile of rubble and not being the last man standing the other night. And Brock is also on the Mania 39 posters, which I figured at worst he would be at WrestleMania next year here in Hollywood. So that doesn't surprise me. But when we talked about it Saturday, Jay, I was surprised to see him on any poster. But again, the WrestleMania tickets go on sale as of right now, a week from Thursday. So they got to be sure they posted up with star power. January 1st, though, I was surprised. I really was. So we'll see what happens with Brock. I've been pretty opinionated about Brock in the past, and I don't, you know, shy away from it, how I felt about him when he first came back. Versus how I've loved the new presentation, but again, you can't, too much of anything, even a good thing, leads to bad. And I think this Brock Lesnar has been refreshing to watch, fun to watch. But when you have a singular goal and you continually fail to meet that goal, however it happens, what do you do as a character? What do you do as an entertainer? You know, there is unfinished business with Lashley and Ken, but the Lashley thing with him kind of became part of the Brock story, the Roman story, excuse me. So were he to come back and Lashley was in a position in the company where he wasn't U.S. champion, or he was needing a fresh coat of paint on his story, maybe they put them together. Maybe they team him up like you just said here. So there are options, I guess, as a character, but with a guy like Brock Lesnar, if you're not challenging for the championship, there's very little else. Even if you're in contention facing the Bobby Lashley, then we just get the same shit. And it was made more than clear about Saturday's match that this is the last time we're going to see Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. So if Roman is still champion when Brock comes back, leading up to or on January 1st, then his character and his storylines are dead in the water. So, but that's just me. I did notice today there's a few actually very important points in history, but we'll get to that in just a second. JJ's building a story in his chat, so we'll go ahead and let him do his thing. I know it probably never happened, so no, Taker being at Flair's thing Sunday in the crowd was just a show of respect for Nate. It's my understanding that the Undertaker, Mark Calloway, is done in the ring. He's making appearances as far as, like on a Legends contract, which is why he was at Flair's thing, which is why Brett was there, which is why Mick was there. They're all under contract. So, and I think that was a show of goodwill from WWE to Rick. However they felt that, Rick's the greatest of all time, so you do want to show respect. So, stupid. So JJ says, I know it probably never happened, but what about Brock coming to the Intercontinental Championship picture, helping to elevate that championship to more prestige? I think that helps. You know what? Actually, I don't think it helps either way. Everybody would realize that Brock Lesnar being an Intercontinental Champion would be a step down. Ken, don't address it, please. Would be a step down for Brock. So it wouldn't be an elevation of the title. It would be a demotion for Brock Lesnar. And that's what the majority of the fans would latch on to, right or wrong. What they need to do, Jay, is just use the champions they have, the contenders they have at that level of the card, and just put the son of a bitch on a premium live event. It's, again, we've said it ad nauseum all year. It's not difficult to book it, just to finance it. You want the Intercontinental Championship to have prestige? Have a program around it on SmackDown. Build toward the Clash. Build toward Extreme Rules. Build toward Survivor Series. Just build. If it's so ridiculous to me that the U.S. Championship, it was really built around the fact that it was the Money in the Bank guy was involved, and there was no doubt in anybody's mind that Theory would lose, right? So it's so stupid. But no Intercontinental, not even a tease. You don't need to demote, in their eyes, a main eventer. You just need to properly promote the mid-card champion and his contenders. It's not hard. It's really not. So, anyway. Today in history, I didn't have this graphic ready, but today in history, 30 years ago, believe it or not, was Jake the Snake Roberts' first appearance in his post-WWF career in WCW. He attacked Sting prior to Sting's match with Vader in an attempt to regain the WCW Championship. Sting was injured, and that led to a lottery. Ron Simmons wins the lottery. He becomes the first recognized African-American world champion in not only WCW history, but actually in the mainstream American consciousness of wrestling, WWE, WCW, ECW, whatever you want to call it. So that was on this date in 2008, which, God, is 14 years ago. Brett Albright, the man that was once known as Gunner Scott in WWE, defeated Adam Pearce, the Scrap Daddy himself, for the NWA Championship at the very first time that the NWA title was defended at Ring of Honor. So, go with a couple things in history today. So, know your wrestling history, kids. And if you don't know your wrestling history, you can check out The Great Cherry Show, which happens to be tomorrow night. We talk about it all the time. Ask the dads. Dads Not Always in Wrestling every Monday. The return of Stat Boy Sports Bar a week from today on the Casa brand, and the replay is a week from Thursday on my show, on my channel. So be on the lookout. Good stuff. They should have Gunther at Clash of the Castle. It is the Intercontinental Championship. It should travel to other continents. Again, I'm a book of territory, so what do I know? And he's a great United Kingdom competitor. He could be the next to UK for a long, long time. Longest reigning champion for I think he still is. So, as he should be. Mohammed says, happy Tuesday on Tuesday night, Jeff Meacham. I hope you're doing well, and same with everyone here in the live chat. Happy August. Thank you, Mohammed. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I know it's early, but I blew through the questions quicker than I thought. If you guys want to keep asking questions, by all means, as I go through the plugs, I will gladly answer them right up until the very end of my usual allotment. So, if you guys missed yesterday on the Cassian Studios channel, JJ returned with Renegades Reviews for August. He's doing some of his favorite movies from growing up, from his teenage years and from his adult years, some of his favorite movies over his lifetime. Yesterday he did Little Monsters, featuring Fred and Ben Savage, and so many more in that movie. I can't read it. It's such a cute movie. JJ, if you're still here with us, my buddy Kat, who I've talked to you about, she's out in Arizona. She loves Little Monsters. Wanted to have your Instagram handle and send you the love of the review. So I hope that you guys got in contact, and she loved the review yesterday. Kat, if you're watching, with that being said, he will continue his week one of his favorite movies. Well, like you asked me the other day, JJ, about what I'm looking forward to on the Casa, what I'm looking forward to this week on the Renegades Reviews is what is coming up, man. I mean, you've got two movies very, very similar, right? Like Father, Like Son, starring Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron, and of course, vice versa, starring Judd Reinhold, again, Fred Savage, and Swoosie Kurtz, who I happen to love from the sister show, as well as many other things. She was in Liar Liar. She was funnier than hell in that. It's the same basic premise. If you've seen Freaky Friday, you've seen the story. But, you have your choices with either Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron, who, everybody loves Kirk Cameron, I think, from the Growing Pains era. Fred Savage, of course, from the Wonder Years. Judge Reinhold from everything. And Dudley Moore from everything. So that's Wednesday and Friday. Saturday, his first new release of Saturday is Where the Crawdads Sing. I haven't even seen the trailers for this. JJ said he's seen the trailers, and he looks forward to watching the movie and writing the review for it and knocking it out. And of course, Sunday, his weekly acquisition report, the War Zone, talking about whatever he has picked up at the thrift stores, the Dollar Tree, the Big Lots, everything you can get the movies for at low prices. JJ's got your movie review situation covered. Definitely looking forward to this weekend beyond, brother. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to your whole month, but this week, I'm already looking forward to continuing the week, brother. So thank you for that question. Of course, after Like Father, Like Son with Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron at 3 p.m. Pacific, at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 for you East Coast kids, Greg and I'll be back on the other Greg Cherry Show. Of course, that's on both channels live at 7 o'clock, 4 Pacific. Again, just Greg and I talking about sports, entertainment, wrestling, the weekly Q&A. We might get back to weird state laws. We'll see how that goes. And, of course, anything that happens to pop in our head, of course. MLB trade deadlines this week. That's why I got the Dodger hat on. A lot of moving parts in baseball this week. NFL camp, NFL Hall of Fame game, I believe, is next week. Preseason, of course, is a little over a month away. So there'll be a lot of discussion on the Greg Cherry Show tomorrow. Thursday, of course, is a No DQ review. I am going to be simulcasting that every week now, whether I'm on it or not. So check that out at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. Again, JJ's back on Friday with Vice Versa, starring Judge Reinhold, Fred Savage, Swoosie Kurtz, and then Aaron will have his week. By the way, Aaron will be on, of course, tomorrow night with his recap of AEW Dynamite. If you missed his recap of Raw, be sure you check that out. Friday night, he'll have his recap of SmackDown, and I believe he's going to go live after Rampage because Rampage is live. So be on the lookout for that. Saturday, we will be live across the Jeff Meacham Network, the Cassian Studios, Silkman Studios, and the Jay Heber Studios for Open Mic Night. We usually do those after premium event pay-per-views, but because there is none for this month that we're covering, it'll be Saturday nights, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Again, that's on the Casa, Noah's channel, James's channel, and here on the Jeff Meacham Network. Comment, what do they do with Styles after Ciampa? Let's see how this goes first. AJ is kind of a utility guy at this point, right? Don't put too much stock in Ciampa losing Monday. They are in Cleveland, and we have heard that Triple H has been talking with Johnny Gargano, and they're, like I said, they're in Cleveland, Ohio. So don't be surprised. A week from yesterday, Monday, JJ will be back on with even more Renegades reviews at 3 p.m. Pacific. He'll be on at 2 p.m. because at 3 p.m. we're going live with our top 10 show, non-wrestling show this month for the dads, always on wrestling, and we'll be talking about the top 10 songs in the library of my favorite band, Eagles, of course. My favorite band of all time, one of the greatest rock and roll bands ever, especially one of the great ones out of Southern California. I'll be going first on I'll be going second. I usually go first on the non-wrestling shows because JJ wants to bring the non-wrestling stuff home, but because they are my favorite band, he wants to go first, and he'll probably steal all the greatest hits, so I get to educate y'all on the lesser known stuff, right? So be on the lookout for that Monday night, a week from yesterday. That's coming up on the dads, not always on wrestling. JJ says Styles needs to be in the main event picture. The loss didn't hurt him, just helped Ciampa. Exactly, and like I said, Ciampa gets a shot at the Lashley on Monday with Gargano very likely to show up. No worries, Joey. I'm almost done. It's all good. I'm usually done at 7:45, 10:45 anyway, so you're good. You only miss about 10 minutes if I even get that far. A week from today, on the Casa Eden Studios channel, will be the return for season 3 of Statboy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou, and you can catch the replay of that show Tuesday nights on the Casa, Thursday nights on the Jeff Meacham Network. Again, happy to have Statboy back in the family. Happy to have Statboy back where he called home, the Casa Eden Studios, where Statboy Rants got its start. That's Tuesdays live on the Casa Eden Studios channel. So please give JJ and Mikey the love. JJ will be in the co-host chair for Statboy Sports Bar with Dory Lou, along, of course, with Miss Dory Lou. I will be in the director's chair / producer's chair, pushing all the buttons. Going to be a grand time next Tuesday, after I get my son done with his first day of school. It's going to be a long day. And then, of course, after that, at 10:05 Eastern, 7:05 Pacific, we're still celebrating 15 years. 10:05 Eastern-ish. Talk Wrestling will be back on the air next Tuesday night. That's really all I had today. I got the topics in, got the questions answered. Lashley versus Ciampa should be a rocket buster, as the father of the FTW champion would say. And Ken says, JJ, depends if AJ wants to work with Roman and Paul. I think AJ still does want to work with Heyman. I think we're reading a little too much into past shit, but I could be wrong. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. It is 10:37, 7:37. We will see you guys next week here on Talk Wrestling, and all week long on the Casa Eden Studios, the NoDQ.com channel, the Greg Cherry brand tomorrow, and of course, the Jeff Meacham Network. Have a good night.